Wow, it's Jam TV show. I can't believe it. 200. Hey.
Boy, the internet is very wonky tonight. I heard. I was just listening to that. It was like, dun 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 dun. What the hell was that?
Uh-oh. I don't know. Wonky internet.
Yes, the wonky internet. Well, we know
Show
that
200.
well.
Better than show 1.
That's exactly. There were a lot more gremlins out there then than there are now.
Show 1. This is show 200.
Yeah.
200. So the first 70%, 60% of the shows were 4 hours long.
That's
and
right.
The balance
Yeah,
were 90 minutes, 2 hours, 2.5. So that's a lot of programming. That's like
4 hours. My God, it's surprising that the host let us go that long. You must have been paying double the rate. You know.
The only reason that it was 4 hours and not longer was that that was the maximum that you could do on Facebook and you know the streaming you could do.
I didn't know that.
Like I'd have to cut shows off. I'd be like, sorry everybody, sorry we couldn't get everybody in the studio, you know.
But we're about to get cut.
Yeah, it would go no, you know, it would act like it was going to go on, but Facebook and you know where we streamed it would be like, right. You know. So, but we had no place to go. Like it could have been 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you know, during the pandemic.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Yeah, and that's. I mean, that was a different time, you know. But it's funny because people tell me like I'm starting some new stuff, and people are saying, but you know, that was the pandemic. You know, now people are out doing stuff, and I'm going, well, I don't know. I see people actually doing stuff online too. You know, it's just
they are, and
people,
they, you know, people. What's interesting is I talked to a lot of people about this, and they all say like, I kind of don't get out of the house as much as I used to. I don't, and it's not a question of age. Like, you know, I do a podcast with Nasir, who's been on the show before, and he's like, I gotta get motivated. Like I'm online. You know, he plays video games and he's online doing YouTube and he's online doing. He's like, I gotta get out of the house. Like I
gotta get out.
And I'm the same way. I'm like, I gotta go find some outlets to go. And when I go out, I'm kind of like, you know, like people everywhere. Like, what am I gonna do? Yeah.
Well, I have found. I don't know whether you probably haven't run into this, but because my party skills have kind of atrophied. So I'll go to a party and sort of half start a conversation and then kind of forget, like, what the hell's your name again? You know, and
right, you know, and you can't just like mute the person, you know. Like, right, yeah.
Could I just rewind you for a minute? I missed a little bit of what you said, and I don't want to be rude.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like, you know, you spend a couple of years and then some getting used to being in a solitary environment, and all of a sudden you come out and people are scary.
Yeah. They're around here. They're scary anyway. Our town, for some reason, our town is like you've heard me say before. Our town is like it's like Westport, but without the celebrities and without the major chain stores. Actually, it's got those too. But all of a sudden, there's these strange crimes occurring that are like, you know, serious crimes, you know, murders and, you know, this kind of thing. And, you know, it's completely random. Like, why would they appear in this suburb and no other suburbs? You know.
Really?
And
what's the answer?
So I don't know.
Don't know yet.
It's
scary. You know.
It is random. I mean, it's. Well, I won't go into the gruesome details unless you want to turn this into a crime story. You know, on 48 Hours. I love that show, 48 Hours. That guy was like, and what did you do next when you found the bloody boot?
Right.
You know?
No. It was not for GMTV. I had a raccoon in my house today.
Wow, that's cool.
In my kitchen. Kitchen.
And what did you do when you found the rat in your?
He was a nice guy. He knows me. Like, he's one of the guys that comes and eats the cat food outside, whatever. When I feed the cats from the forest, and he big though. He big raccoon, and he in the broad daylight was hungry, between like he didn't come in the morning. They don't generally go out in the daytime. The raccoons they generally come at night. 11 o'clock, 1 in the morning, that kind of thing. And I'm watching YouTube, sitting home watching YouTube, and I look over at the kitchen. Actually, Blinker, my orange cat, comes running in. He looks at me. He looks into the kitchen, and like he had this look on his face, and I'm like, "What?" And I look over by the fridge, which is right by the door. The door was wide open, right by the fridge. There's this raccoon up on his up on his back leg,
checking out like what's the freezer section.
And he's like, "I didn't know there were people and cats in here." Like, and so he turns around, he walks out, whatever. Blinker chases him out the door, right?
Really?
and then I literally spent the next hour trying to find him because I couldn't get him out.
Yeah, you mean
no,
Blinker, or you mean
the raccoon. The raccoon ripped my screen. A little corner of my screen and snuck in, but then he didn't dare go back out the way he came. So I had all the doors open and the cats inside. Anyway, that was my day.
Yeah.
So, no people here, no people around
That's
here.
Right, but no people, just raccoons. My raccoon social skills are great.
Right,
I can interact with them really well.
So the raccoons are in the axis of evil. Although this guy is the axis of evil is raccoons, possums, opossums, skunk. Groundhog, my nemesis, right? The groundhog, the solitary groundhog, and then there's the occasional bear and deer, but that's the axis of evil.
I would think the bear would be like the Russia of them all,
Nah, the bear is like, what you got? Nothing. Bye. See you later. He's cool. It's the groundhog is the worst because he's defiant. Like he doesn't care.
Yeah.
And the raccoon, this guy was super sweet. So I could. After spending an hour like opening the doors and getting him outside, I'm like, all right, I got him. I must have gotten him. He must have strolled out, Turns out he was behind my Hammond M3 organ that I have out on my porch. And I see his head peek out behind the organ. And I'm like, oh, you're hiding in the back of the organ. So I went over and I shoot him out with a broom. And he stood there and he looked at me like, don't hurt me. I'm just your friend. Like he was really sweet. And then he went down the steps outside, turned around, looked at me like, thank you for not hurting me. It was cool. So.
That sounds like a very meaningful afternoon.
Because they know me. They all know me. I'm the guy who feeds the animals in the forest. So
that is true. You're like well, I'm not sure who you're like, but I wanted to say Johnny Appleseed, but that's completely wrong. But you're like an icon like that. You're
there. You go.
An archetype.
Daniel Boone.
Daniel.
I did cut his tail off. I did cut his tail off and make a hat out of it. So,
that's true. Oh yeah, there was a squirrel.
I did
definitely
that,
doesn't feel good about him. The squirrels.
So play a song for us, would you?
So, all right. Well, actually, I'm thinking since it's the 200th show, I'm going to do something a little different.
All right.
Some technical stuff here. Hang on a sec.
Ooh. Not technical stuff.
Well, this is a technical version of a music stand. Oh, and I didn't fall off the chair either. All right, so this song has nothing to do with tonight. It's simply a song, and I thought since I haven't sung in almost 200 shows, it might be a good show to sing. So,
don't hurt yourself.
So thank you. I was thinking the same thing. So this is a Cheryl Tune Crow.
All right.
I revised a little bit. Gotta feel like hell tonight. Tears of rage, I cannot lie. I'd be the last to help you understand. Am I strong enough to be your man? Nothing's true and nothing's right, so let me be alone tonight. 'Cause you can't change the way I am. Am I strong enough to be your man? I'll lie to you, and I promise to be true. You can lie to me, but please don't leave. have a face I cannot show. I make the rules up as I go. You can dare to love me if you can, but am I strong enough to be your man? I've showed you that I just don't care. I'm throwing punches in the air. I'm broken down and I can't stand. Am I strong enough to be your man? I'll lie to you, and I promise to be true. You can lie to me, but please don't leave.
That was great.
I have to change my electronic music stand here. So
Phenomenal. Will Baird singing. I've never heard of such a thing.
Well, I figured it'd be a cool thing to do once every 200 shows. So
right.
That's our 200th. I'll see you again at 400.
Oh, right. My God. Yeah, I did a podcast last night with Nasir, and we talked about what do you do to change that dynamic where you need to get out, you need to make your life more external and less internal. Before, I was playing music 5-6 days a week and running jams and things. And then all of a sudden I'm home and I had to figure out how to be okay with not being out all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And now I got to figure out how to make it okay to be
out. Yeah.
Home, and I got to get out. I got to go do stuff. So I'm playing with bands. I've got a bunch of. I got 2 bands out here in Pennsylvania, and I've got a bunch of bands in Connecticut. I pick up a gig here and there. I had a double this weekend. I played with Mill River Band at the Slice of Saugatuck Festival. It's like a food festival in Westport. And
you posted a video wasn't that show, but it was 2 shows ago or 2 weekends ago of you with the new imitation Hammond.
Hammond. That was out here actually. That was at a end of summer party.
Yeah, and the name of the band again it's something.
That's
dark.
The Nor'easter Band.
Okay. It's not the dark.
That was the well. No, I did 2. I did with that keyboard. I played with the Dr. Shadow.
That's who I was thinking of. Yeah.
And on a cool stage by a big lake, and then the other one was the Nor'easter Band, and it's kind of fun to play gigs. But this weekend I was in Westport and Greenwich. I did an end of summer party in Greenwich, and it's a lot to play a double now. Slice of Saugatuck was nice. We were in a prime location. A lot of people came and all that. But it was a long show. It was like I was on stage, 7 hours. That day. Speaking of being on stage 7 hours in one day.
Well, it's another thing when you're changing, hey, there we go, Randy Stone.
How are you, boys?
Very good, very good.
Hold on, I gotta get this. Will, I was setting up and everything. I heard you singing. That was fucking good.
Oh, thank you.
Seriously,
thank you very much.
That was seriously good. Well done.
Well, the song was chosen based on these criteria, which narrowed down by the
No, man,
one song that I could do.
You sang it with tone and subtlety and dynamics. It was well done. But I couldn't fucking do it. So of course that's a low bar, but still.
I couldn't play bass either. So
yeah, I didn't even lower bar.
Nice job.
See what I did there.
Did you play Slice? Did you do Slice?
Bar.
Did you do Slice of Saugatuck?
I did do it.
Nice.
I did it with Dale and Ray and Dave Rao in the parking lot of Dunville's.
Very nice.
I had a fucking great time. Then I went down the road to Sunset Grill and did a gig with Holly, which phenomenal because I just have to sit there and play bass and literally be entertained by her and Warren. And then we packed up and I realized it's like 11:15 and Christine's at the Duck. So I drove over to the Duck at 11:30 and I got half an hour of her show.
Wow.
And that band, I haven't seen them I've been on a spiritual retreat in Nepal for a long time.
Right.
That band has gotten seriously good.
Yeah, they've gotten good. They're fun. I saw them last
they were always good, but this was they did the other level thing. They were really good. They had a new drummer who clearly is broken in. I mean, she's always fabulous and entertaining, but Todd's gotten better. And Rory did something. He did slide all the way through These Boots Are Made for Walking.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, God, did it work. I've never heard an arrangement like that. He's a very creative dude. Anyway, I called that a perfect day. And kind of, I think, to what you guys were talking about, when I finally got home at 12:30, I was fucking dead.
Yeah, the next day,
that's
you're like, I can't do anything.
The next day, I was dead.
It was a nice temperature that day, but it was 1 degree warmer than you'd be cool. Like it was a little warm.
It was okay. It was enough of a breeze. Because I always keep a fan in my car for summer gigs. I didn't have to pull it out. Where were you at?
I was by where Pete's Bridge Market used to be, by the little bridge.
Yeah.
Near Dunville's and near Viva Zapata.
Yeah, we were down the street from each other. Yeah.
Right. But I didn't have enough of a break. I was going to walk around and see some of the other acts, but
I didn't either.
We had like a 5-minute break.
That's the bummer about being in the show, is that you really can't walk the show. No matter where you are, unless you're just doing like one set, we're done. That's the bummer about festivals.
But since I haven't been playing it just reminded me how much I love playing. And unlike you two introverts, how much I love being around people and talking to everybody, because I never shut up and I will talk to anyone, anywhere, at any time, and find something to talk about.
It must feel really good after your jail sentence to be out in the world. And playing,
that's right. It's tough to be in that cell with just one guy.
Yeah, I mean, among us and whoever's watching, that 5 months set me into a tailspin for a while.
Right. How could it not?
I hate to think of what that could have done to your tail. Yeah, that bad idea. That's
Speaking of tailspins, here's Dave.
Hey, there we go.
Hello, guys.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
Greetings from California.
Everybody good?
And I think we're good. There's one of us has like this little on our microphone, and I'm scared it's me because I've had so many technical. I've had so much jerry-rigged stuff here. It's like to try to get rid of hums and things. So if it's me,
is my volume okay?
Yeah,
very good.
I think we're doing all right.
Very good.
Okay, good.
So, Dave Robinson, what's going on in California?
Oh, but I'm sorry I'm a little late. I was prepared, but I dozed off.
Oh, good.
Have you ever done that?
Made you more prepared. I mean, more prepared.
I don't know. I just dozed off, and then I looked up at the clock and I go, oh shit.
You didn't miss much. You missed my raccoon in the kitchen story. We missed Will Baird singing. I mean, you're not going to see that for another 24 years.
Go look at the replay and catch that. And I'm not kidding.
Well, I do. I will definitely do that.
Right.
I will do that.
And then don't tell me that I should do it a lot, because I can only do it for like one day, and then after that I'm like, I can't talk anymore.
You can do it once a month. You can do it once a month.
So will you now? I don't want to get personal about your vocal cord situation, but will you now have pain or vocal loss or?
I'll lose volume, and have to kind of push a little bit more. So I'll lose volume and tone. It won't sound quite as that warmth. It's like being at a party. In college I could be loud all day long, Now I can be loud at a party for about 2 hours, and then it's like people are going,
that's kind of a good way to understand it. Like, if you're talking loud in a loud room and you go home and you're like, I can't talk anymore.
That's what it's like, and the first sign is people start going, what are you saying? What? And you're like, I think I'm speaking loud enough. What the fuck is your problem?
Right.
It's these things.
Well, I'm glad you got a song in for our 200th show. Kind of unbelievable.
Oh, it's 200?
It's 200 today.
Yeah. Damn, Ed.
200 shows. Yeah. I mean, it was 4 hours a show during the pandemic, and I was telling
I know.
Will in the open, like it could have been 8 hours.
It could have easily
because like people were sitting home. And it was like the one chance to do something with people that you knew on a screen.
Yeah,
at least.
And I remember you had the screen was like postage stamps. There were so many people on the fucking thing.
Yeah, you could have 10 on the show, and we always had 10.
And you were kicking people out and bringing them in and shit.
I was like, if you don't mind, if you got nothing to say, whatever, come on and say your stuff and then go, because we got more people coming in. It was a problem. Or we would debut 2 music videos, like something by Dennis and something by Mike and me, and we'd do those, and we'd have the people in the studio who were on the video, and it's like, okay, but we got to bring the next round of people in, scram, Like,
that's
crazy.
Sweep the clean.
200 shows, man.
Yeah, it's been 200 shows, and now we just keep it going for shits and giggles.
Do you own the name Jam TV?
Nah, it's one of those. It's one of those trademarks that is. There's so many of them.
I figured.
There are other Jam TVs, but in this market, in our market,
I figured Jam TV Live but everything's taken.
Jam TV 3D.
Yeah,
Jam TV.
I mean, the question with with trademarks is does somebody with deep pockets come and try to sue you out of it? But we've been doing it for a while, and nobody objected, so we're kind of in this space.
Yeah. And what?
Oh, they would have come after you. Well, there's no commerce involved here. If you had ads, somebody would come steal your shit if there were commerce going on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, if we still had like 2,000-3,000 viewers every single show, maybe somebody would notice, but maybe nobody would notice.
Trademarks have a lot to do with occupying territory. So if you open up,
that's right,
Ed's hamburger stand, and you've been doing it for years, and then McDonald's tried to trademark Ed's hamburger stand as a B business, they couldn't knock you out because you've been doing it for a long time.
And you're on to what companies have to do, but it makes them look evil. And the classic example is the Girl Scouts had a cookie with a name or formula that was identical to what Nabisco had.
Oh.
And Nabisco had to go after them because the fact is the lawyers would say, if you're not protecting that as your own name, then you're basically saying to the world, have at it. Right. And have at it for all the other names that we own.
Right.
So, but they look like shit because they're like they're suing the Girl Scouts.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. And if somebody wanted to do like the Jam TV sneaker, right? If it was a sneaker company,
it's the best sneaker. It's gold. It's the best.
We could coexist with them out there. There was no chance of confusion.
TV sneaker is the sneaker that gets along with other sneakers.
I'm just happy.
It's the best. It comes with a Bible.
I'm just happy that the friggin' that the copyright thing let go with Facebook. Every week we get these notices like you better stop it.
Yeah. What did Facebook care?
No, I'll tell you why. Because they are worth like at least $1 million. And
no, I mean, what was their claim? What was their how are they harmed?
It's the rights holders of the music. So,
the
Eagles would be like, "Oh no, you played."
This is Rick Beato's eternal,
and they would
pitch.
sue
He's
Facebook.
like, I'm promoting people's music. I'm telling you how good these songs are, deconstructing them. But he said the most evil one, where it's like, he gets a legal cease and desist, is the Eagles. If he does anything to do with the Eagles, they're on it.
Absolutely. I remember when Dave came on the show and I was like, Dave, you want to do a song? He's like, sure. I'm going to cue up this Eagles tune. And as soon as he played it, I was like, oh God. And then no. But they used to send you menacing stuff because what they would do is they would sue Facebook. They didn't care about us. Yeah. They'd sue Facebook. So Facebook was like, no.
You don't have money. Facebook does. Zuckerberg has money.
We're going to stop you. And somehow they figured it out because I don't get any of that anymore.
Yeah, and not only that, but it was all very low on the radar because there was a lot of press about it back when they wanted to stop and cease and desist for us little artist guys.
Right.
Yeah. Then it just went away, and it's like it's fine, let it stay away. We don't want to ask.
What they do now, I guess what they do now, if I could be wrong, but I think this is what's happening, is they say, well, if your show is monetized, meaning we're making money on it, they get the money.
Follow the money.
Yeah. And so, you'll see YouTube, like Rick Beato, you'll see them talk about this, and they say, if I say this word, I'll lose my monetization to somebody. So I can't say this word, but it's, they make they put it on the screen or something.
Oh, he's figured it out. There's some I can't even play the song, not even 10 seconds of it.
Right.
And then sometimes he's like, I can play 10 seconds of it. And then sometimes he's like, I can only play it to you on my guitar or piano. I can't. And then sometimes he's like, I can't. I just, you know.
I can play it on my recorder, but that's all.
Right.
Right. That's what I mean. That's what makes the music industry go round. But you know, those big ivory towers, if that's the right word, they will fail in a new model like of the internet.
They're failing now. Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, it'll be interesting because there's a lot of people protecting their money that they're making on artists or dead artists or family members or whatever, and they've got to try to milk that.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody's like, Spotify doesn't care about the individual artists. Like, no shit, they don't. They care about themselves.
Yeah.
You know, that's what the rights business. That's what broke up Mahavishnu Orchestra, right? Like they're a jazz group. You know this guy with John McLaughlin and Jan Hammer.
I saw them at New Haven Coliseum.
Phenomenal, right?
With Jeff Beck as the opening act. Yeah.
But they broke up because they would go in the studio and they would create this improvisational music. You know, it sounded a little like rock, but it was kind of jazz and whatever. And they all made their own parts and did all that. And then the record came out and it said, copyright John McLaughlin. The record companies are like, we're not giving those other guys whatever. And the other guys in the band were like, what?
Fuck you, yeah.
We get nothing?
We wrote some. Yeah. Now, are you still hearing about, I haven't heard this in a year or two, about the publishing companies walking into a bar that hires cover bands saying, you fucking owe us like $1,000 a month, like the Mob.
Oh,
well, yeah, it's ASCAP BMI.
ASCAP BMI.
Yeah, and I haven't heard it in a while, but there was a place I used to play at in Ansonia and went back for a gig, and the guy's like, no mas, no more bands, can't, unless it's all original material. No.
Right. They have to pay.
Yeah, but it's so rare and what's random as to who they hit up.
Right. Well, here, check this
guys,
out.
Every place I play, we're doing other people's songs. That's what we do, you know.
Band. Yeah. Check this out. The Music Therapists Association, the ASCAP and BMI went after the music therapy industry as it began about 10 years ago. Sherry could talk all about this, and said, you're using our songs in your music therapy, in your performances for patients and their families and so on. And there was this big legal battle over whether they could use them to play for sick people.
Right.
It's like, that's
well, you got a business going. That's what they did. Tangled
That's
Vine.
worse than the Girl Scouts, man.
Yeah,
exactly. Tangled Vine was playing. Then I'll tell you my Girl Scout story. Tangled Vine was playing at Cobb's Mill Inn.
We may want to hear the Girl Scout story.
Oh, you want to hear that
one? Tangled Vine doesn't sound interesting anymore.
Tangled Vine was playing at Cobb's Mill Inn, and ASCAP BMI showed up, and they sued the Cobb's Mill Inn when it was owned by Drew Friedman.
Yeah.
They sued them, and they said, you owe us, $50,000 for violations, and you have cover bands in there, and, you have to pay us. And Drew Friedman said, he's a rich guy, right? He said, send me a list of all of the songs of all of your artists, and I won't play any of those.
Nice. It's a good move, actually.
And they're like, well, no, you played too, and we're going to sue you. He said, no, great. Send us a list of whatever. And he dragged them out for a couple of years. He's like, fuck you. I am not paying you. I got the money. Not
good
paying
for him.
You. Not paying. But then they got the money. And then they have to pay a couple grand a month for a license. Oh, yeah. And they all pay. The Black Duck pays a license. Everybody pays a license. Otherwise,
is that still going on? Everyone is paying?
Oh, everybody pays. Yeah. Yep. You got to have a license, and it's a little tricky because if you play at a venue that doesn't have a license, technically, like if you're a DJ, technically they could come after you. Yeah. But they'll generally go after the business because what are you?
I won't mention them, but there's a few places I play at that I somehow don't think are paying a license.
They don't seem like.
And I'm not going to mention who they are.
If you like them, don't mention.
I love them. Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, they're good people. Yeah.
So the Girl Scouts. So I get a phone call. So I grew up. The girls next door, literally to me, when I was growing up, they had 9 daughters and no sons. Mm-hmm. And all the girls were good looking. They were all really, really good looking, blonde, tall, good looking girls. And everybody in Bedford, New York, where I grew up, had a one of those daughters was in their class or their friend or their crush, and everybody, like, if I meet somebody from Bedford, like, oh, I grew up in Bedford, I'm like, but did you know the Heller girls? And they're like, oh yeah, well, so and so was my
I remember
crush.
them. Yeah.
Which one did you have a crush on? Right.
Right. So
all of them.
so Wendy was my age.
Mm-hmm.
She was the next to last, next to youngest, was my age. And I was like sort of the kid next door, so I was the unofficial brother of the family, right? But Wendy was all upset because of the sister that I was into was the 1 year older than her, and I was like, oh, my heart, every time I saw the sister, Wendy's like, you're an idiot. Like, she was my best friend. We're still friends today. She's like, you're an idiot that you like my sister. How dare you? And it went on forever. So one day I got a call from the sister, right? Like this is unrequited. I never got a date with her. Like, she never looked at me. She was like 2 years older. Good luck to you.
Yeah,
and so I'm now 30 and I'm in business and I'm driving a fancy car and I had money, and she calls me up and she says, hey, how you been? Like, I always meant to call you. I was like, what? Like, my dream come true, right? And
all's forgiven.
Yeah. And then she says, so the reason I'm calling is that there's this a ball in New York City, and I really want to go, but I don't have anybody to take me. And it's a fundraiser for the Girl Scouts, right? Mm-hmm. It was a big fancy ball. And I'm like, I'd love to take you to the ball and with the Girl Scouts thing. Right? She's like, good. It's $200 a head, and you're paying for me, right? So I was like, oh. So I pick her up, right? She's in pretty dress, and I'm in my tuxedo, and we take the car down to New York City, and we get into the we get into the ball and whatever. And they're like, you could donate more money, and I'm like, geez Louise, like, I think I did donate some more money. They gave us a couple boxes of cookies and a little gift bag or whatever. Yeah. And we come out of this the ball, and this is before radar on your phone, right? And there's a foot of snow. Like, there was no snow in the forecast, and now there's a foot of snow in New York City, and like, it's snowing like a blizzard.
And you got to get back to Connecticut.
Right. Oh. And so I got to drive her to Poundridge, New York, to her mother's house or whatever. And we drive up, and it's the worst ice storm, snowstorm ever. Like, cars are like spinning out and hitting the guardrail.
Oh, God.
We make it up to Poundridge, and you got to go down this big hill and then up this big hill. And the way down the hill, I realized the car was not responding to brakes or gas or steering or anything. The car was just like, it was solid ice. And the car was just like momentum going down the hill. And so I beached the car over onto a berm that was there. We get the car stopped. It skidded to a halt, and I think it got a dent in it or whatever. It hit a rock or something. And then I got to walk her. She's in heels and whatever. I had to virtually carry her up the hill for like a half a mile to get to her mother's house, whatever. And then we're like stranded and whatever. That's my experience with the freaking Girl Scouts.
So you had to then go down the hill and get back in the car? And
no, my car was beached. I had to sleep on the sofa. After all that.
Hey, honey, not for nothing. Hey,
not for nothing. No, it was like that was not happening. And it was like, oh, she just wanted me to take her to the ball. Like, this was not about I like you or anything.
My only Girl Scout story is one of the few times I actually got kind of reprimanded. This is in the 80s at work for being a wise ass. There was this really cute new hire, and she was like 4'10", 4'9". She was just adorable, but put together. And apparently I was overheard saying something to the effect of, I'd like to put her in a Browning uniform and have her sell me cookies. And apparently I was overheard by another female colleague, and I got taken to the spanking room for that.
Yeah, it's a hostile environment. Yeah, hostile environment.
I used to have the moms come to my office, and they'd be like, hey, we're here to take the orders for the Girl Scout cookies. I'd be like, where are the Girl Scouts?
Yeah, that's right. Where are your daughters?
And they were like, what? And I'm like, you come up here. You're not Girl Scouts.
Well, absolutely, I agree. Yeah.
They're like, we're Girl Scout moms. So then the Girl Scouts, they hold on. They go downstairs. They bring the Girl Scouts up. And I go, you're not wearing uniforms.
Oh, geez. How do I know you're a Girl Scout?
And then the moms are looking at me like, you son of a bitch, really?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not ordering cookies if I don't see Girl Scouts in uniforms,
I
right?
want an ID or a medal. I want to see some sign.
Yeah.
Credentials. I
God.
want to see credentials. Where's your credentials?
I think I ordered a box, but I was like, I'm not ordering cookies without a Girl Scout. What's the point?
Show me your
Overpriced cookies.
papers.
I'll go pay for the Nabisco ones.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah. Help
my
violate the
God.
copyright
Oh my
or
God.
trademark or whatever.
But as you say that, I kind of want some Girl Scout cookies right now.
Oh God, they're so good.
Yeah,
They're so fucking good.
they actually
they're-
really are. Yeah, it's true.
They're good.
It's-
Will Baird, you got a song for us?
Sure, why not?
We need to get off the Girl Scout subject.
Yeah, this could go horribly bad.
This is The Heart of Life by John Mayer. Now let me see. I've got all these notes for stuff to do to deal with all the weird tuning things that I've got with like volume is up and this is down and don't forget the reverb and here's the
Nobody
song.
likes to know how sausage is made.
Good point. I'm alone. I'm just alone up here. They forget
No,
me,
you're not
they just
alone.
leave
You're
me
not alone.
Right. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Very
Excellent.
nice.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh, good. It's a cool. I always think of my son because he and I sang that song. He taught me that song. I'll just keep the story short.
Wait, who taught you that song?
So, my son.
Oh,
was-
yeah.
Yeah. I got us into a routine that whenever we came back from college, we would record a tune. So I'd say, okay, you're coming back for vacation. What tune do you want to do? You know, and he'd pick something by various bands, and they were never songs that I'd ever heard of or bands I'd ever heard of. So I'd be like, oh shit, okay, I'll figure out how to play that. You know,
Yeah.
And you know the Milk Carton Boys or whatever. You know, and I say, I can't even figure out the chord
Bless you.
progressions with them.
Ah, thank
Yeah,
you.
bless you. Why is it the older we get, the louder we sneeze? So anyway, I just also makes me happy to play because it makes me think of Charlie, my son.
There you go.
Nice.
Where does your son live?
He lives in Brighton, which is just outside of Boston. It's
yeah,
like
okay.
a couple of miles. It's Boston University. It's in the heart of Boston University. So
Very good. What are your sons doing these days, Randy?
let's see. I got one is a chef at a ritzy retirement home. I know it is. Like you got to have a lot of bucks just to buy the condo there. Then you pay an outrageous fee every month.
Right.
But they have everything from memory care to nail service to da 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 da. And
Right.
they have like a 15-person kitchen with real meals. Like,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, this is not. They're not shoveling out the beefaroni. They're doing short ribs and trout almondine and blah blah. Anyway, that's what he does. And he loves it. He lives in Bethel.
Nice.
And my older son is a licensed mental health counselor
Oh yeah.
at a federal facility in Ansonia, and he's the music player. He's got his own band. He does solo gigs.
Right.
As a matter of fact, interesting you should bring it up. The girls has their annual Pink Pledge breast cancer benefit at the Horseshoe in October,
Right.
and our guitarist will not be able to do it. He's having a little procedure done.
Okay.
So I recruited my boy Pat to do it
Nice.
with us, and we also have a gig on November 1st at the Duck, and he's going to do that with us too. So
Oh, that's really
this
nice.
is one of the rare times I get to play with my son, he's very good.
That's
I mean,
cool.
I know I'm biased, but
I know
it's
he's
great
good.
when you get to do something with your kid. It's just so cool.
you know what? Well, the only Father's Day I'll probably remember, and I don't mean that the way it sounds, but most Father's Days are, here's your tie.
Nice to be with you, Dad.
You get to fuck off for the day, and here's your tie.
Right.
I fuck off all the time anyway. We played, my boy and me and my drummer friend Tom Smith played Cafe 9 on Father's Day. They had a Father's Day thing with 3 acts with father and sons playing together, and I'll remember that Father's Day forever.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
It was cool. Yeah.
That does sound memorable. Yeah, very memorable.
So yeah, they're both launched and well and doing fine.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
I
great.
don't know what's harder, parenting or letting go after you're done with the parenting.
They're both hard. You're right. Parenting is longer,
Yeah.
but
That's
you
true.
kind of get into the rhythm of it,
Mm-hmm.
and you know what to expect, and you know. But letting go. Well, first off, I'm disabled. Who's going to do all this shit for me?
Exactly right.
Fuck.
I'm still getting my legs back.
Yeah, do you think I'm hauling the recycling to the top of the driveway? What the fuck?
Right. Doesn't the town just do that for you? Or
Oh no. Well, I have a
from
long
the door.
driveway,
right.
as you can see on Facebook, being repaired. Yeah.
Oh, you're posting pictures of your bridge repair?
I have videos on there. If you go to my Facebook page,
Oh, I
yes.
want to see that. Yeah.
Yes, the damage done from a once in a 1,000-year flood.
Yeah. You know what? I've heard too many. It's the 1,000-year.
Yeah, no
thing
shit, right?
That's
in the
true.
last
Yeah,
2 years.
Yes, 100-year, 1,000 years.
Yeah.
That's why when people are like, nothing's changing, there's no climate change. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, Beavis, turn on the fucking TV every day. Out where Dave is or around here, there is an event going on somewhere that is climate related every day. And it wasn't like that 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It just wasn't.
That's right. In my parking garage downstairs, they needed to like replace it basically. So they like dug the whole thing up on the second level, and they couldn't do the first level because the water table was so high.
Oh, well.
from all- that if they drilled at anything, water would come out.
Oh, God.
So, and we're next to a river, so it's the amount of rain
So
you
this
get.
to the story about a man named Will. Yeah.
God.
Yes. So anyway, now they're finally starting to drill down there, which is a nightmare because you're like, okay, I'm all well dressed and I'm, in my nice black and white clothing, and you go in there and it's just all like concrete dust that's probably carcinogenic. You're like,
Yeah,
oh
no,
my
but Ed,
God.
you're right. Shit is happening everywhere, and the events are more extreme, and they're happening at an ever increasing rate.
Yeah.
It just is,
Yeah. It's sort of like if you watch I don't know what the news is like in New York, but in Boston, it's a small enough city. They don't really bother covering national news, so they just cover local news, which means it's basically local crime.
Yeah, there's a lot of that here. Yes, in New
Yeah.
York. Yeah,
So it's it's like if I want to watch something that reports on violence, I'll watch the news, and otherwise I'll like read a magazine or something.
Yeah.
Check it. Look for PBS or one of those things.
yeah. And New York, they're often leading with a subway crime of some sort.
Well,
actually,
yeah, New York has always been a bit of a poop show in terms of local crime. Like, don't
One
watch
with the-
the,
yes,
don't
yes.
watch the local network
Yeah.
channels out of the city if you want to have a nice day. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
that's true.
exactly.
they're
yeah.
like, mother in the Bronx puts her child in
Oh,
a
I know.
microwave
Yeah,
oven
exactly.
to keep it warm. You know, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking well, not that bad, but fucking P. Diddy, huh?
Oh
Yeah.
man, how evil is
no,
evil?
no, this is beyond what's his
Yeah,
name? Who's
this
the
is
other guy?
R.K. Kelly.
Epstein,
Thank
Jeffrey,
you. Thank you. Yes. Oh no, he's like a piker compared to what Diddy has done. That is
Yeah.
extreme depravity fueled by extreme money. It's
yeah.
and apparently he's in a cell which they say is horrible, like it's really bad conditions.
Yeah.
And his attorneys tried to get him moved today, and the judge was like, not happening. So and his trial won't be around for like a year.
Yeah.
He's
Right.
gone from being worth $500 million in luxury
Yeah.
all the time to like retro.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, it's interesting. When they get people that are, you know, wealthy, high profile cases, there are a lot of cases where, so they're going to let him out on bail,
Right.
and he's going to get on his private jet, and that you'll
Right,
never
and
see
take
him
off
again.
to Bulgaria. Yeah.
You know, in fact, there was a guy in Japan. Like, you think the jails are bad in Brooklyn at the federal detention center where they're keeping P. Diddy? No, the jails in Japan are really bad.
Oh, really?
Oh, apparently, yeah. Like you don't want to get arrested for anything in Japan. Like, that's why there's no crime in Japan. And there really is no crime in Japan. But the for financial crime, the head of, I want to say it was Nissan, the head of Nissan.
Oh, I know this story. Yes.
Arrested for fraud.
Yes.
Right?
Big time.
Eventually, they let him out and they put him under house arrest with an ankle bracelet, the whole thing, right? And he was at his house, and they had a function or something, like a party where they had a band play, and they put him in one of the flight cases and took him to the airport to his jet, which was waiting. And he took off. They loaded the flight case like Joe Calzone's built, you know, Anvil case or Calzone case, and they flew him out of the country because then he was like, I'm a asylee because they were holding me unjustly.
Oh, wow.
They never got him, and
he had the money to do that.
If I were, a P. Diddy, like it's one thing if you're rich and you're just minding your own business, you're drinking champagne all day, and you got a pretty girlfriend, okay? But it's another thing when you know that you're doing what he was doing.
Yes.
Right.
Allegedly. This
wasn't, you have a pretty girlfriend and you have a side piece. This was...
I'm doing like...
Well, here's the one fact, and I could actually... They were talking about this on Howard this morning. When they inventoried the stuff they found, including AK-47s or AR-15s, whatever the fuck it is, they found, and I'll just let you guys comment on this. They found 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
Yeah,
that's correct.
1,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which,
yes.
If you buy them in bulk, you get a better deal.
I know,
right.
But as someone said, when it comes to lube, a little goes a long way.
But not baby oil. That's not who used it. Was he cheap? I mean, I'm sorry, but it's just odd. I mean, is he naive?
No, he was.
I skimmed through the indictment. It's extreme depravity. It really is.
And so, so if you're doing that, right, like you find yourself like, you wake up one day and you're like, maybe what I'm doing is completely depraved, right?
Maybe this is really good. The way I have it right now is pretty fucking good, man. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you have an escape slide out of your house that takes you to a limo that takes you to your jet, which is already running 24 hours a day, and to take you to your house in, Tierra del Fuego,
you're just so
why wouldn't
arrogant.
you have that?
Because you're a rich guy and you think you can do anything you want. Because up until that happens, you're a rich guy and you can do anything you want.
Yeah. And then eventually it hits, the reality hits, and you're Jeffrey Epstein and you kill yourself.
It's too late.
In a jail cell.
Right.
Yeah.
Too late, baby. Now.
I still believe. I mean, I was going to say I'm not the biggest conspiracy theorist in the world, but maybe I am, right? But Michael Jackson, do you know who Dave is? Have you ever?
Who?
Anybody? Dave.
Not
Okay.
Dave Davies.
Do yourself a favor. I'm going to mess with your brain. All right. When you're done with the show tonight, go on YouTube
No.
and type in Dave.
No,
Dave,
not until you tell me
So
why.
Dave Robinson,
Yes.
Dave. Type in Dave. Right. So, no, Dave.
Wait, 2 Daves
So-
or 3 Daves? I'm confused.
Dave is a friend of Michael Jackson, a longtime friend of Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And when Michael Jackson died, like Dave went on like Larry King or something, and he talked about poor Michael and blah blah blah. Dave is Michael Jackson in a mask.
Oh,
Okay.
no shit.
You watch it, right? If anybody,
Oh, you mean after Jackson died? You're saying this was Jackson in a
This might
mask?
actually have
yeah,
been
I'm
Jackson.
saying that Jackson created the conspiracy theory goes as follows, and I'm
Okay.
100% on board, right?
All right. I just looked it up, and I see what Ed's talking about.
He
And it is
talks like
Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Like if
Yeah,
you
he's
said
got
to
a
Michael
mask.
Jackson, put on a fake voice, he'd be like, "All right, I'll put on a fake. How about this? Is that good?"
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah. I see
This
it.
guy Dave. Watch the videos of Dave, and you'll be
Dave,
like,
Dave.
the guy faked his death and he's living in Dubai or something.
Yeah.
He's living somewhere in a compound and they
Yeah,
will
right.
never get him.
I'll look, but I won't buy it.
And he
But
had
that's
to
what
give
I'm.
up his
You,
zoo.
I'm telling you. Next week or whatever, you come on the show and tell me that you watched Dave, and you're like, you at least will go, I don't know, it's kind of weird. It is kind of weird. It
They said
really,
that the CEO of Enron did that.
Just looking at this, it's a little disturbing. Ed.
it's disturbing. It's totally disturbing. The fact that
Yeah.
everybody in the world doesn't know Dave blows my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he
that's
went
the
on
thing.
Larry King while they were burying Michael Jackson. Like,
Larry
King.
King. I'm Larry King. Hi. Welcome to my show.
and he talks like Michael Jackson talks like this and whatever. And he's like, he was burned, and the reason his face is disfigured and scarred is that he was burned in a
In
fire.
a Coke commercial, not a Pepsi
It's
commercial.
like
I
insane.
didn't wanna- yes,
Yeah,
you're.
it's like his
I'm looking at
face,
the
yeah.
guy. Yes, I didn't want to say nothing, but yeah, he's a burn victim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Holy
You
moly.
could
Yeah. His
actually be-
face. is
How much would it take?
Are you claiming that you fully believe that Michael Jackson faked his death?
I do.
Oh no!
I,
I'm not saying that.
No, I know you're not.
Oh,
Ed,
I'm there because
geez.
they were about
Oh.
to take him down for all the
Oh, yeah, the
child
timing,
related
right, all the-
things. They were
yeah, kidding,
about to
yeah.
take him down, and he conveniently dies at that moment. You know,
Yeah,
it's a little
yeah.
weird.
It's funny,
I
this
don't know.
pattern of that one of the trends is that lawsuits get brought against somebody for sexual harassment or sexual abuse or whatever, and it reaches this crescendo, and then the federal authorities say, we've been investigating them for a year and we're now dropping the bomb on them, and it's like it.
They were about to get him. They
It's
were
like-
about to come down on
And
him
all
like
these
a
other
ton of
people
bricks.
who were suing them wasn't a clue to you.
But that's what I would have. I would have some sort of a plausible story, or at least a jet warmed up to take
Well,
you to a
that, yeah.
place.
Yeah,
you know?
the jet warmed up is not a bad idea.
Especially if you're worth billions or hundreds of
Yeah.
millions of dollars. Like have
actually,
it
that's
escape.
a thread in the pot line of the series Billions.
Mhm.
Oh,
One of the key guy who gets basically essentially busted for all sorts of. He's a hedge fund dude, and he gets busted for all sorts of illegal activity. And he's a multi, 10, 20 billionaire. And the plot line is, and you don't find this out at the end, that he had a jet waiting,
right.
and they put him in. They redid the luggage compartment of the jet to have like a bed in it.
Right.
And he flew to Switzerland. When he gets off the plane in Switzerland, of course, everybody was bribed, and they come out and give him a Swiss passport.
Right.
And it was a good plot twist, I thought.
Yeah,
A
like
good series.
it's especially if you're doing things that you could get caught for.
Right.
I'm not like
Oh, yeah.
you're a businessman and you're Warren Buffett and you live in the same house for
Right.
30 years and you drive a Ford and you whatever. It's like, yeah, I'm not talking about that guy.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the guy who's doing, horrible things.
Bad things, yeah.
And there are
Sex
people
trafficking,
doing
human
horrible,
trafficking.
like even Bill Cosby. Like he should have known that
Yeah.
it was gonna come and get him one day.
One would
Yeah.
think, man. Yeah.
There's
You
got to
know?
be some sort of actually I think Randy's son could probably diagnose it for us, but there's got to be some personality disorder that explains how someone someone's mind gets so distorted that they think they can get away with this.
That they think they can get away with anything and do whatever they want and not be punished for it.
That it just expands bigger and bigger.
Who do we know that does that?
I gotta think on this one, man. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to think that long.
I know.
I didn't mean to lead us there. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
But there is some really sinister stuff that goes on, and like the Epstein stuff and like the P. Diddy stuff, and this is the problem. Don't tell me there aren't 500 people that went to those parties that should have blown the whistle,
right?
That are now in big trouble because they didn't,
and yet nothing will happen to them. Well, actually, no.
They would have had to either implicate themselves, or they feel as if their livelihood would have been destroyed, or
right,
or they'll get flipped. Either we're going to charge you for collusion, or you testify against them. It's your choice.
Right. Which is apparently a judge has ordered that the Epstein list is going to be released, but they're waiting till after the election.
I've been hearing about this Epstein list.
Me too.
I mean.
I don't believe that the Epstein list will ever hit the light of day, but I do believe in Dave. So
I can't believe that Ghislaine didn't give it up. She's,
I would have a double to serve the jail time. Have like a stunt double around all the time, and that looks just like you. And like your job is to go to jail. While I disappear.
You get beaten up while I disappear. Yeah,
that's right.
That seems like a good.
And we just happen to have a. Never mind.
Oh my God!
Thank you, Randy.
A P. Diddy reference, but
we appreciate that
but also other musical crimes.
Speaking of musical crimes,
Ronnie Spector,
Jane's Addiction.
Oh, I love it.
What the fuck?
Okay, wait. So, did you love Jane Addiction in your life?
There's a lot of stuff I like of theirs. Not all of it, but there's a lot I like. And as they went down in popularity, I tended to like their shit more. Like there's a song called "The Invisible Force and the Immovable Object." Beautiful fucking rocking song, and the video is mind blowing. I never remember to send shit, but I'll try to remember to send it.
All right, guess what? I totally missed Jane's Addiction.
Yeah,
like I know the name,
Same here.
And like, wait, I just realized that I thought it was Alice in Chains.
No, they're different.
Like Alice in Chains Addiction. Like I don't know.
With 9 Inch Nails.
I couldn't name a song by either of them. I don't know Alice in Chains.
You've heard some.
I'm sure I have. I'm sure I have.
Been Caught Stealing with the barking dog in the background and all that shit. You've heard some.
I bet I have, but that didn't ring a bell. And like Boy George, I could name some songs, but not them, right? And so when I heard they were going on tour, I was like, okay, like what's the big deal? Like everybody was like stunned. They're like, oh my God, they're getting back together again. And when I saw him on
stage, shit, man.
And I saw an interview, like I think 60 Minutes interviewed the lead singer guy,
Perry Farrell.
Yeah. And I remember watching like 30 seconds of the interview going, who is this jerk? Like, who is this psychopath that they're interviewing? And like, I'd never seen him ever, and I'd never heard the band that I know of.
And amazingly, he's like 55 now. You remember this emaciated, 28-year-old.
Yeah, these guys were they were old. I mean, when you see the video of the fight, they're like they're not young guys.
And clearly, I mean, they've had, pardon the pun, there was some addiction in the band for a long time.
Right.
And and I guess the rumor is he's heavy on the sauce now. And apparently he thought Dave Navarro, who's a really good guitarist, was playing too loud. Now, many times you just turn to your guitarist and go, turn the fuck down.
Right.
But there's no evidence that he said that to Navarro, or Navarro went, go fuck yourself. I'll play at the volume I want. I don't know.
He was just kind of like...
Now the tour's canceled. A buddy of mine was going to see them in Bridgeport soon. And he's pissed because the concert's canceled.
Yeah.
And it's just all this stuff, so that venue had turned down another act. It's breach of contract, insurance company, lawsuits. I mean, the dominoes that are triggered by this stupid pushing match
right
on stage.
Right.
The financial ramifications, it's stunning.
Oh, he'll pay for that. They'll come out of
I
his.
don't know how much he has. I mean,
Randy,
Yeah.
they're scheduled to play out here next month.
oh yeah,
No, really?
Yeah. They're next month they're scheduled. It's still scheduled. Actually, it hasn't been canceled.
I heard the tour is canceled, but
Yeah, it might be.
but I
That's
think
what I heard,
to your point, Ed, I don't know if there's much to go for. I think part of the reason this old act is back out on the road, everybody's got bills to pay.
Right.
You know, we all do.
Although that's what I
know,
said about Herb Alpert. When I heard Herb Alpert,
yeah.
I was like, oh, he must need the money. It's like, no, he did not.
No, not him. Hold on, Jane's Addiction ain't no Herb Albert. They did not form A&M Records and all that shit. Yeah.
Sorry, I
my
listened to a
God.
lot of Herb Alpert when I was 10. I don't know why. I'm suddenly remembering now.
Oh yeah,
I
I loved Herb
listened to those
Alpert. all my
records.
life.
I did too. My parents had the albums.
But
I
if
can't
you
tell
had
you.
told me that he would be a multi-billionaire,
Yeah.
you know, I wouldn't have
Yeah.
believed you.
Yeah,
The hours
same
I
here.
spent staring at, listening to that album, Whipped Cream and Other Delights.
Right.
Oh my God, with the woman in the front.
That's what I mean, staring
Oh
at.
my
There's
gosh,
this naked chick covered in whipped cream. Like,
yeah. How did he get away with that in 1965? I mean, it's like, whoa.
I was like 10 or 11. I'm like,
Right, yeah.
and it was in my dad's record collection. I'm like, I want to hear that.
And where did they get that much whipped cream?
I don't know.
Did you
It's
ever
probably
think
not
about
whipped
that?
cream.
Yeah, no, I heard it. I actually heard
Shaving
that
cream.
somewhere that it was not.
Shaving
Yeah, that it was shaving cream.
Like they say, the Soupy Sales pies.
Hmm.
I'm a Soupy Sales aficionado. I saw Soupy Sales live.
Right.
It's the kind of taste I have.
Yeah, I'm sorry to
They
hear
said
that.
that whipped cream, shaving cream looked better on TV when
Yeah.
it's splattered across someone's face.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Than whipped cream. So they'd
Yeah.
make a pie out
Go
of
figure.
shaving cream.
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. Like when they shoot ice cream, you can't. Back in the day, when before LED lighting, when you had real tungsten lighting, you couldn't shoot ice cream. It would melt in 1
Right.
second. And so they used mashed potatoes for the ice cream.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and
Like
there's an
coloring.
even bigger principle from advertising. And if our buddy Bill were here, he would know this.
Yeah, sure.
It's called food in motion. You never take a shot of just food sitting there. It has to be being served, going in your mouth. It has to always be food in motion, because pictures of food, go to any Chinese restaurant you know right now and look at their website, looks like barf.
Right.
A picture of food looks like glistening, gleaming barf.
Right.
So it's always got to be food in motion.
That's
That
true.
makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. I have many
Say you
gems.
heard it here on GMTV.
Yes, I have many gems like that. Yeah,
I've been filming a lot of stuff.
and I'm not
lately,
drunk
so-
and I'm not high. Just imagine.
Oh my God.
No,
I should fix that though.
Yeah, there you go. So, so speaking of which, so next Saturday, the 28th, is that next Saturday? No, it's a week from Saturday.
Yeah.
Is the at Bush Holly House in Greenwich is the Billy Foster tribute, Billy and the Showman
Oh yeah.
gig, and now jam apparently from 2 to 4. The people, bands have been put together. People are going to be playing and all that. But at 4, Billy and the Showman go on with this guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. You mentioned that a week or two
Yeah,
ago.
I will.
Yay.
I will be there. Yes,
Woo.
I will be there.
And I forget, where was I? Oh, it was my gig with Dale on Saturday. AJ showed up, and somebody else. They're like, "Are you coming on the 28th?" I'm like, "No, nobody said, and no one invited me. No one said anything." Oh yeah, no, you're on the bill. I'm like, "No, I'm not.
You're on the bill.
No, there's no bill. I know it's an
You're
open.
being billed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, you're coming. You got to come. You played with Billy. I love playing with Billy. I have hours of video of me playing with Billy. But, so, I don't know. We'll see. It's a long way to go and a long way to hobble to sit around and play one 15-minute version of, Stormy Monday. I don't know. We'll see.
And also a lot of chaos. I would think.
And parking and, me.
Yeah, I am not going to be part of the jam thing. AJ called me and asked me to be part of it, and I feel a little weird about this never-ending quantity of tributes to Billy and all that.
All right,
I'm a little
another
weird
musician who I will predict the identity of, but I suspect most people know this, said to me at another venue I was playing at on break and stuff. He's like, "How many fucking tributes are they going to have for fucking Billy?
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. They're making money off of his name left and right, having all these
kinda looked at it
goddamn
that way.
tributes. He'd be fucking laughing right now." And
Right.
it made me laugh.
I mean, I guarantee you, we did a Jam TV tribute to Billy the week after.
Of course, well, that's different. That's different. He was on here all the time, you know.
Right. But like the fact that it's apparently what happened is that Billy and the Showman, when he passed away, obviously it was a big shock to them because they knew him for 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
That they said, well, we're going to have one in some, after the dust settles and like after Labor Day, we're going to have one. They planned that from early on. Mm-hmm. But now this jam portion for 2 hours has been put together with a lot of people, and
when's when did he die? When's the anniversary?
I don't remember. Do you remember, Dave?
It's passed away January. Is it?
Wow, is that
the
January?
26th?
Yeah. I remember it was before I went to the joint. So, but I remember. Yeah, so January would be about right.
Yeah,
that's when they should do it, or his birthday.
Yeah.
His birthday is February 9th.
This was originally intended to be his band, Billy and the Showman,
that I get
in Greenwich for
that makes total sense.
His Greenwich crowd,
right,
who knew him for years and years.
Makes total sense. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I would say talk to his wife and find out what charity he would have loved, and do something on or about the anniversary of his death, and throw it at that charity. Probably something to do with Vietnam vets or something like that.
Right. So that'll be happening. And I will be there for for some portion of it. I'll definitely see you, Dave. No, I'm not going to play. AJ called. What AJ said was that Billy Friends, who's the Billy and the Showman, called him up and said, "Hey, we've got this. We're getting a lot of requests for jams." And I had a lot of people ask me, like, "Are we going to do so? Can we sit in with Billy and the Showman?" I remember Dave called me up, and he said, I'd like to sit in on some songs with Billy the Showman, whatever. And I talked him out of it. I was like, I don't think they're going to allow anybody to do that. I wouldn't ask them and whatever. And then he called them and they're like, yep, you're playing with us. So, but I have a feeling what happened is that a bunch of people wanted to play with the band. And Billy and the Showman is not a more the merrier.
No, we talked about that. You're right. No, they're very focused, and yeah.
They are. They're a rehearsed act that's been doing it away, and they don't.
Yeah.
They'll have Milo get up and sing a song, or they'll have Rosie get up and sing a song, or
that's different.
Things that they'll do, but they've been doing that for 40 years with those guys. And so when AJ called me, he said, "Well, what he wanted to do originally was he'll have like." The Lamb Jam people will get a half hour, and then the Wendy Jam people will get a half an hour, and the Ed Train Jam. And I was like, it just sounds awful. Like,
that sounds like a cluster.
I said, I don't want to be. I said, I have no desire to somehow glorify myself.
That'll be everybody will run over. Everybody will want to take 3 solos. That'll be a clusterfuck of epic proportion,
right?
And I can just see myself sitting around for 3 hours waiting to go on for 5 minutes at the end. And
I'll bring my camera. I'll take some pictures,
good. And now let his band do their thing. That makes sense.
I remember my sister was playing at a tribute show just down in Florida. And all the people were sort of well-known local musicians. But had been specifically invited by the person who organized the whatever the tribute was for. And Faye, my sister, was the final act. They had her alone playing, just her and a banjo. And I said, "So how was it?" And she said, "There was a lot of ego back there."
Yeah, can you imagine?
And when you started talking to me about, the more I hear you talk about managing jams, the more I realize like there's a lot of ego to be managed in these things.
Oh yeah,
it's a big picture.
Absolutely.
The dreaded phrase among musicians, like, "Hey man, you hear fucking hey man, get out of town, get out." I don't care if it's a rehearsal, a gig. As soon as you hear "hey man,"
I'm one of the worst.
I was talking to my good friend Sarah Chesler the other day. She's so lovely and she's wonderful. And she's never been really part of the music scene. Like, she's not a jammer. She has her.
No, but I know who she is, and she's quite good.
She's amazing. She's amazing. But she's not a like, oh, I want to jam with people. She's like, I write songs and I perform them and I make records, and that's what she does. But I was talking to her the other day, and I said something like, I said, we were talking about I can't remember what it was, but I brought up, well, that person is not a member of the Ed Train Hates Me Club or the We Hate Ed Train Club, right? They're two different clubs. There's the Ed Train Hates Me Club, and then there's the We Hate Ed Train Club, right? And she's like, oh, well, you're clearly kidding. And I'm like, no, I'm not kidding. I ran a jam for 15 years. Like, you think I don't have people that I got stories about people hating on me bad, you know? Mm-hmm. And then there are people that I'm done with. Like, I'm just done, you know, like I've been there, done that, and I'm not doing it anymore. And so she was like, really? I can't imagine that you would have anybody that you don't get along with because you're so. I'm like, oh, you have no idea, right? So, and I'm like, then I'm like giving her, oh, wait till you hear this one, and I'm giving her another example and another example. And you know, musicians, as lovely as we all are, you know, there are musicians out there that will stab you in the back over $100 gig, over $100. You know?
Absolutely. I got kicked out of a band. I'll never know why. They just stopped talking to me.
Right.
Just stopped.
I
liked the band. It was fun. It wasn't my heart's desire, but I had a very good time whenever we played. Then all of a sudden, I hadn't heard from them about 3 weeks, and somebody was live streaming a rehearsal with a different bass player, and I'm like, okay, I guess that's, you know.
That's that.
And you thought I wouldn't notice this?
You don't know. So there was a guy who's I don't know, I remember his name, but I'm not going to say his name. I was going to say I don't remember, but now I remember his name.
We should have a secret Zoom chat just to tell all these stories of where we name names.
MTV is kind of a secret. Yeah. No, but there was this guy. And he had a band. He was he a bass player? I don't remember. But he this is a long time ago. This is like when I was doing like Georgetown Saloon, you know, a long time ago. And years later, I met. Do you remember Maria Nazzaro? Really, like shot out of a cannon singer, like really, really great singer.
I don't think I do.
She used to come to Cobb's Mill, and she played in a band with me and Cal Keo, whatever. And when she met me, she's fucking funny, this girl. Like, so she's an actress, like SAG-AFTRA, have done movies and TV shows and stuff. She was Fart Girl on the Howard Stern show. Do you remember Fart Girl?
I do. I should know her then. Yeah.
They would bring Fart Girl on, and she would like do songs like in farts, or I don't even know that, right? Fart on demand or whatever. She's a comedian, like she's super good and super talented and super nice, whatever. And she met me, and she came to my jam at Cobb's Mill. You might have been there. And afterwards she goes, so what's your last name? We should stay in touch. And I go, Ed Train. She goes, Ed Train? She goes, you're Ed Train? And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, oh God, I heard terrible things about you. There was this guy that I played in a band with, and it was the guy, right? So the story is that this guy came up to me at Georgetown Saloon and said, look, at Georgetown Saloon, I had to run a list. You know me, I never ran a list, right? But I had to run the saloon made me do a list and keep it in order. And he came up and he said, hey, you know, my friend is here and he only can stay for another half an hour. Do you think you can get him on? I go, I don't know. I'm not supposed to, and whatever. And I said, I'll see if I can. I'll see, you know, like, and I kind of was actually like, I'll sneak him in, you know, whatever. I'll make it happen, whatever. But then I forgot. I literally just forgot. There was a lot going on, I forgot. And they left, and they never said another word. And from that day on,
oh Jesus Christ,
he has
your name was Mud.
Maria was like, at every rehearsal we did for that band, he's like, that fucking guy Ed Train, that guy, what the fucking hell? Who does he think he is, right? And I was like, he would come up to me and start cursing at me at the Georgetown Saloon, like, fuck you. I'm like, what? You know, it took me years to figure it out.
There's lots of reasons to get mad at people, but A, that's his fault for trying to shoehorn in, and B, you know, come up to you in a little bit going, hey man, just a reminder, my buddy's got to leave in 20 minutes. Do you think, you know?
Right, like a reminder.
But
grow up.
You know? That was a gift.
Or I have another solution: show up earlier and get on the fucking list. How's that?
There you go. There you go. Yeah. But it was like, so when you run a jam, you're gonna get that. You know, you didn't respect me enough. You didn't give me like. You know, there were a couple of people who came to my jam. They were competitive with each other. They remain nameless, and they were competitive. And they're like, one of them was like, you gave him 5 songs, and I got 4 songs. And I was like, what now? Like, I didn't give anybody anything. Like, we're all just having fun, I thought, you know. And And then he'd be mad at me that I didn't take his side, and I'm never coming back, and so
Jesus.
every little bit of pathology that exists in the music scene, and the music scene is, after all, we're all nuts.
There's a few.
All nuts. Yeah.
That
Just a few. Yeah.
so and they sort of fade or whatever. But when I get to an event and like 7 of them are there giving me the stink eye.
Yeah.
I mean, after all these years, they're still pissed.
Oh yeah.
That they didn't get enough time at the jam.
Well, there's 2 clubs.
I mean, like Poor Widow Boopsie,
No, there's 2 clubs. There's the Ed Train Hates Me Club, which is they did something that I won't forgive, and then there's the other club, which is the They Hate Me, and usually it's because they did something to me, and I said no, you don't get to do that. So anyway,
I mean, music and bands are not conflict free.
Oh my God!
But come on, there's a little jaywalking. My point is, don't serve up the electric chair for jaywalking. I mean,
right?
On,
you listen to Paul McCartney, old 90-year-old Paul McCartney is like, we didn't always get along. He's trying to make it nice, but it's still not nice.
Yeah.
And the Eagles, for crying out loud.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Talking about some of the
and you'd
stuff
think that Jane's Addiction, they would be like those guys, but
Well, apparently
they had a gold mine going, like fucking patch it up and cash the checks, douche fucks.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that's the crazy part. Hey Ed, can you take me out for a minute? I'm gonna run and get a different chair and come back.
I'm gonna take you out.
What's that all about?
Yeah, it's a long story, but
we're gonna find out. Here we go.
I'm just being a dick. Don't worry about
it. I hate this effect.
Yeah,
it's not that bad, but I like that one better.
Yeah.
So anyway, no, he's got to take a leak. That's what he's doing.
That's fair. See that open door behind me? That's
exactly. Oh my God. Yeah, well, and even at Jam TV, there over the years there have been people sort of coming and going on Jam TV, and there's been drama in the background, with anything, any kind of a.
I've witnessed it. I witnessed it a little at one of your jams. I want to say it was at Bobby Q's,
maybe.
And I totally witnessed it with Wendy. When people would give shit to Wendy, like, I don't know, maybe because she's a girl, they thought they could get away with it better, but she's pretty fucking iron-fisted. Like no,
right?
And I understand why she has to be that way. Because
you have to be,
yeah. The guys that wheel in with their fucking guitar amps on wheels with 212s. It's like, oh God.
Who could that be?
Yeah, I know. That's the one I think where, God bless her, she literally went over and unplugged his amp from the wall.
Yeah.
Because she had given him, she has a dB meter on her phone, and she had given him like 3 warnings. And it was fucking pinned, and he never came back.
Right. But that's what happens. So,
and we got over it.
You spend years cultivating friendships, and as a jam leader, they're customers too. They're coming to your jam. They're supporting, and if you drop below some critical mass, now the bartender's giving you a stink eye.
Yeah.
Like, all you people drinking water, so you don't want to. Out.
It's a fucking business. This is my whole rant, and you've heard me do this rant, but I'll truncate it.
Yeah.
Cheap ass musicians. Like, if you're showing up to play at a jam, buy a fucking drink, would you? And if you're on the wagon, would you buy your buddy a drink? Spend some fucking money, because you're going to use more in don't do. I'll have a glass of ice water. You're going to use more in electricity, and musicians are cheap. Well, I've said it. I saw that at the Duck a lot. You're playing so loud, they can't hear the orders. Yep. They can't serve the drinks, and you got to keep the register ringing.
Absolutely. Yep. Most musicians believe that what they are contributing is their talent and their musicianship. And so you're like, yeah, but this is a jam.
That's about a third of it.
Yeah, this is a jam. You got to be nice, and you got to spend a little bit of coin to support the bar.
It'd be nice if you brought in some people,
right?
And if nothing else, whenever I played, I didn't do it they didn't really serve food at the Cobb's Mill Jam, did they?
No, they didn't.
Whenever I did Wendy's or yours at Bobby Q's, I always arrived early, and I always bought food.
Right.
Always.
Right.
I do that at every gig I go to. If it's a place that serves food, I always show up early because I want a parking space. And
Sure.
but I'm happy to show up early and order some fucking food. Recycle some of my pay in there. It's
and
just,
when you show up at a venue and you're like, "Hey, could you book my band?" You think they don't remember whether you bought or didn't or tipped or whatever. That's all they remember.
Yeah, it's a business. They got to pay people. Some of them may not be pleasant people, but they have barkeeps to pay and wait staff and dishwashers and all that shit. Like, come on.
Well, they'll remember that you're the guy who said, "I love the rainbow sushi. Oh my God, this stuff is great." They remember that stuff. They don't. A lot of bands come through, but Randy Stone. There are not a lot of Randy Stones that come through, but there are.
That's right.
Bands
the rainbow sushi, which by the way I do like very much.
You just reminded me of something like so. I don't know if any of you guys have had the privilege and pleasure of going to a diner with Elwood from the Blues Patrol. Pat Downey.
I've never met those guys. I don't know them at all.
So the Elwood character, right? He's very funny.
Does Aretha Franklin come out of the kitchen?
Elwood showed up at Aretha Franklin's show at the Palace in Norwalk. I think it was at the Palace.
Well,
at old Aretha Franklin's show, right?
And, he showed up in the gear.
And they said he talked his way back to the dressing room, and they're like, "No, she doesn't do autographs. She doesn't do autographs. She doesn't do autographs." And he goes, "No, I just have to meet her. I have something very important I want to say to her."
That's pretty ballsy.
He gets into the dressing room, right, and he's dressed in the Elwood outfit with the hat and the glasses, right, which I think is why they let him in, right? And he's got the briefcase with the handcuff, right? He's got the whole thing, right? And he goes in the dressing room and he says something very nice and complimentary, and he's sort of doing the whole Elwood shtick. And she says, we got this band and we got this bluesmobile with the speaker on the roof, like in the movie and whatever. He said, all the original band members have signed the dashboard of the car or the steering wheel of the car. And the steering wheel, I've got Dan Aykroyd, and I've got Judy Belushi, who signed for John Belushi on the left. He said, "I would love it if you would just be able to sign the steering wheel of the car." And she said, "Well, my time is a little tight. Maybe someday if I'm back in town." And she blew him off. And he pulls the steering wheel out of the briefcase.
It's here.
With a Sharpie.
And she signs the steering wheel of the car. Then he installs it back in the car,
It's pretty impressive.
If you ever go to a diner with that guy, right? The first thing he says, he always goes, because in the movie, they go to Aretha Franklin's diner, right? He always goes, he gets the waiter and he's like, "How's the toast in here? How's the toast?" And the waiter's like,
"It's toasty.
Are you for real?"
Crunchy.
And then what he'll do is say he loves the open face roast beef sandwich, right? Mm-hmm. Open face. But he asks, he says, "So does the roast beef have a rainbow?" And he goes, and the waiter's like, "What?" And he goes, "The roast beef, does it have the rainbow? Like if it's been sitting in the case a little too long."
Oh, God.
You look real close and it's got like a rainbow on the edge of the roast beef. And it's like turning bad, the oils, it gets rainbowy. He says it at every freaking diner in town. Does it have the rainbow, the roast beef? When you talked about the rainbow, the rainbow sushi.
And I don't know about where you guys live, but there are very few diners that are open at the end of gig time anymore.
Yeah, I know.
There's one in Fairfield, close to Bridgeport.
The Circle Diner?
No, closed.
No, Andros Diner.
Andros, that's the one that it's
out of business. They went out of business. They went out of business.
No, it hasn't.
Oh, I heard they were closing forever.
No, I think they're still the Athena is gone and came back.
The Norwalk Diner?
That I don't know. Oh, the Silver Star was always good, but when it's 1 a.m. or 1:30 and you're like, "I'm dying. I would just love to get an omelet or something." There's very few that are. I do believe the Andros is still. Well, I'm going to look. Keep talking.
I'm looking now. Oh, it almost looks like. Oh, it's open.
Oh, good.
Maybe it was Athena that I'd heard about.
Athena went bye-bye. Yeah.
I can't imagine. You go to Andros Diner. I remember back in the day, you go to Andros Diner after a show, you couldn't get a table in that.
No, all the bands. Yes. How was your gig? How was your
there.
gig? And that was the same in Milford. There was one in Milford like that.
Yep.
And you'd walk in, they'd be like, "Hey, come on over here."
Right.
You know,
Right.
that was a cool time, actually.
Right.
That
Well,
really was.
the one in Bull's Head Diner in Stanford was one of those. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
we could always go, and all the
remember that.
bands would be in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess people, first of all, diners are super expensive. We'd go out after a gig, and you'd spend $3 and get eggs and potatoes and thing in a bottomless coffee, $5. You're in and out of there. But now it's like $25. Oh, you want a cup of coffee?
Dinner. Yeah. You're not eating.
But it was still cool. And sometimes sometimes I'm starving. I really am, and I won't be able to go to sleep. And the only option is McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I really won't do the beef, so I'll get chicken nuggets or some, because it's just you need something in your gut just to go to sleep.
Yeah.
But you feel so shit, and I eat it in the parking lot. I'm like, oh God, look at me.
Yeah.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
It's not the same. Yeah.
I'm hideous.
You want to go to a diner with some groupies and fans and friends and and
I want to flirt with the waitress at the diner, and yes, I want all that. Yeah.
I learned that in Colorado. See, Colorado, they don't really have diners. Like in Colorado, they have Denny's. They have Perkins and they have Denny's. They don't really have diners. That's
I would take that. Yeah.
That's a Northeastern. So we'd always go to Denny's, and so the rule was somebody had to order the Superbird, right? So the Superbird was a turkey sandwich with whatever, a bunch of junk on it. And so we had like fans, we get on the mic, who's going to Denny's? We'd show up with 15, 20 people at Denny's.
Save us a spot. Yeah.
And then the drummer in the band, like we were all, this is in college, we were all 20. And he was old, like he was really, really old, like
29,
35, maybe 40, right? And he would always have groupies, like that would be, we want a Billy Brennan, we call him Billy Boff Brennan, because he always we'd bring 5 girls to Denny's, and then leave with one, sneak out with one, and the next week maybe it was a different one. Denny's was a way that he chose his date that night. And those days are long gone.
Yeah, I missed that whole scene even when it was around. I didn't have that scene going.
Yeah. Today my date chooses me.
Yeah, right. Oh my God. Well, Barry, you got one more song for us?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
That'd be great.
All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, turn up guitar.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah,
nice.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Real.
So
good.
who's playing where, Randy? Are you slowing down, or are you still gigging
I got
like
nothing.
crazy?
I have stuff in October. I don't. My next gig is October 5th at the Gala Club in Fairfield with Rough Dogs. But until then, a couple of rehearsals. But
I like that gig. I like that gig. The Gala
Getting
Club.
back on your feet. Getting back on your feet. It's cool.
I am.
I got nothing this
actually,
weekend.
for short stints, I'm actually walking without a cane now. I've graduated from the wheelchair to the walker, then to the cane.
Wow.
And I still need the cane, but I walk like that. I look like that guy on the cover of Led Zeppelin 4.
I got
with all the sticks on his back, and that's me.
I gotta look that up.
You've seen it.
Wow. I'm sure I have. Yeah, I got a gig at Ollie's at the bottom of Greenwich Avenue with the Sound Cats on the I don't know, in the 27th, the night before the Billy Foster tribute.
Is that the
thing.
place? It used to be something else.
It used to be McDuff's.
I played there.
Oh yeah, you talked about it. Yeah.
One of the most horrible load-ins of my gigging career.
Why?
Because you can't park.
Yeah, you can't park.
You can't park. And even I loaded all the shit on my cart. I'm huffing and puffing, get there. Now I got to get my cart over the fucking curb because I had to park across the street.
Right.
And then I do that, and I get there, and there's like this much of a curb to get into the motherfucking place.
Yeah, right.
Like, Jesus Christ. I need a rest just to bring my shit in. It was fun when the gig finally happened, that little corner in the front, and a really fun crowd.
It's fun. Yeah, it's a fun crowd.
Is it the same thing pretty much?
Same thing, except now there's no parking across the street. They're renovating the building. So it's like even worse. You got to park a mile away.
And what's it called now?
It's called Ollie's.
Ollie's, okay.
Which is it's owned by Chinese people that opened it up with like this really high-end Chinese food menu. And then it didn't work. So now they're Italian.
Very Irish. I was going to say.
So now they're Italian. So you go to Ollie's and all the staff, it's owned by a family of Chinese people, and all the staff are Chinese, except the two bartenders, and the food is all Italian. So,
and they call it Aries.
And it's Aries, yeah, exactly.
Aries.
Wow.
No, they're super nice people, and whatever. It's great to be there. They're making a go of it. Joey's went out of business. Did you hear that?
Where was that?
In Portchester, Joey's Sports Bar.
Oh no, I don't know it.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised you didn't know that place. That was like the last bastion of live music in Portchester.
Wow.
Gone.
That's surprising.
Welcome to New York State. Like you come down the road
exactly.
and you cry. There it is.
Yeah. I mean, as much as we may piss and moan about some of the places we play at, they're still there. I'm happy for all of them.
Right.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
So that's the plan. What do you got going, Dave Robinson? What's happening out in California?
Well, what's happening is
Hollywood Bowl.
You guys know. No. I'm done with that now. We're just planning our quick 1 week travel to Connecticut.
Right.
So next Wednesday, I will be on the airplane flying to you guys.
Good.
Stamford, Connecticut.
I will definitely catch up with you.
And are you doing during Billy and the Showman during their set? Are you doing the entire set or a portion?
Yes,
of the set?
sir. Yes, sir.
The whole
playing
set.
the whole. Yeah.
See, now that's a reason I would go.
Now, what's your history with them?
Okay. All right. Do
we have? Sorry, if it's a long one. Or
no.
Maybe I stepped in.
Make a long story short. Well, first of all, it'll be 55 plus years since I played with Billy Friends. Mm-hmm. Okay. The last time I played with Billy Friends was with the Chiffons.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
When Billy and the Showman started, way back when, I was in a band. Shortly after that, with Billy's brother, Gary, who has passed away. He was a bass player. So we had a band, and we would rehearse down in the basement of Billy Friends' parents' house. So we go way back. You know what I'm trying to say? Billy Foster. We might as well just, that's my brother, from another mother. And his mom was my second mom. And so the family members, and there's only two left now. I don't know if you know his siblings, but Preston and Kathy are the only two left out of the siblings themselves. The older brother has passed away. The younger brother, Brian, passed away. And obviously Billy. So Kathy and Preston will be there. I definitely would expect Billy's widow, Irene, to be there, along with the grandkids and all that. But anyway, so we just, it's a family thing, my brother.
Okay.
It's you understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
We go way.
It's not
way
just
back.
what
there's a story that's a history I had no idea about.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, there's big time history.
Yeah.
So, matter of fact, I'm not even sure. I'm going to have to double check, but it's so sad. My mom, when I was with you guys in February, my mom had asked me. She goes, "Did you see Billy?" She's referring to Billy Foster.
Right.
Now, I could not tell my mom. My mom's 98. She will be 99 in November. I couldn't tell my mom, guys, that Billy passed.
Right.
A horrible accident. I did not tell her.
I think that's the right call.
Yeah, you may call. Yeah,
but when she said, "Did you see Billy?" I told her. I mean, I didn't lie to her. I went to the cemetery.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I saw Billy.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I mean, I don't even know if she still knows. I'll have to ask my brother, my younger brother. Does mom know about Billy passing?
Right.
But anyway. Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. We're talking about
nobody knew the real history.
Forever.
Still waters run deep here. You know?
Oh yeah, forever. Yeah. And I appreciate all the input from Mr. Ed Train and stuff like this. You know, referring to Billy and the Showmen. They're not a jam band. All this other stuff. I understand all that. I get all that. But Billy's not having me flying in from California. You understand what I'm trying to say? Not to be
right.
No. You guys, I'm not going to be playing drums. I'm going to be playing percussion. Percussion means timbales, congas, bongos, cowbell, accent cymbal.
You're on the stage. That's
all the extra shit.
Randy, it's all my shit electronically and my Roland Octopad.
Yep.
That's what I'm flying in with. I'm flying that. It's on the plane with me.
Nice.
So I'll be flying in with it. They'll patch me in.
That's cool.
Then we just fucking go.
Yeah.
I don't need to know what song's gonna be.
I was just going to ask you if you know the set list. Like, call it. Go ahead, boys. Call it.
Just go. Just start.
Yeah.
Just start, and I'm there.
Right.
I know the middle, and I know the end.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
We're just gonna fucking do it.
Good. Good stuff. Cool. Look forward to seeing you, Dave.
Very cool.
Yeah, man. I look forward to see you guys. Maybe I can tap Randy on his shoulder like I did in February.
Yeah. If there's a night where you boys are getting together, hanging at a bar or something like that, even if it's impromptu, let me know.
All right.
Okay.
We'll do. What about you, Will Baird? What do you got coming up?
I got a couple of restaurant gigs coming up, but primarily I'm focusing on the Acoustic Earth, which is this new show that I'm putting together.
Great.
Which it's a combination of relaxing music and beautiful nature vistas to help you mellow out, both for entertaining purposes like us, but also for folks who are sick, who are trapped at home.
I think it's a great idea. So a long stream of your music. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the cool thing is, in the logo, the Earth, it rotates.
Ooh.
Cool. That's the most productive thing I've done so far.
The Earth is flat. That's a myth. Come on, let's not.
That's totally true, right?
Everybody, check out Dave and Michael Jackson. Got to do it,
yeah.
Randy. I expect your complete report.
Randy, I'm telling you, this dude is like, it's just that little bit that I looked at when you told me to go. I looked.
How can I not go check it out?
It is a can of worms.
This is like, I can't stay away.
Disturbing.
All right.
Oh my God. All right, you guys. Good to see you. JMTV
All right.
Take
Next
care,
week, 201. This week, 200. Good to see you guys.
All right.
Steve Wexler on the team.